How you doing, everyone? Welcome to 2021. I've done the 7-day trial, and I think I'm willing to not continue with this anymore. I hope you're bloody amazing. It's Billy Kirkwood for Broadcast. We've got an amazing show for you tonight. But before we kick off, tell you what, do me a favor, tag a pal, share the podcast. I got the brilliant guest. He is not only a comedian, not only a video maker, writer, actor, I've even seen him do, but he's also a Twitch partner. We are really excited to have wonderful Mr. Rosco Mcclelland on the show tonight. If you've got any questions for him, make sure to hit us up in the comments. And before we kick off, say hello wherever you're watching. We've got a whole bunch of people watching from all across the UK and across Europe as well. We're on this lockdown. What a bastard it is. Let's try and get it through it together. So, I tell you what, before we go, a couple of people messaging me already. That's kind of weird. Right. Tell you what, let's kick this bad boy off, shall we? I'm very excited to welcome our guest tonight. He's an old friend of mine, and I can't even think of the first time we ever gigged together, so it's amazing to have him on the show. Really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rosco Mcclelland.
Hello, Billy. Thank you for having me. How are you, man?
I am fucking, yeah, I am, what, 7th of January, 2021. I think that's about as good as I could be. Is it the 7th? It's the 7th. I'm good, man. I'm good. How the devil are you in what is undoubtedly the most professional setup we have ever had when we've had a guest on the show?
Thank you. I mean, I can do like I could be in a big cave now as well. Can you hear that? I've got a lot of stuff at my fingertips. I'm great though. I mean, I'll let you right at the top. 2020, the last 3 months of 2020, I shat my pants 3 times.
Oh, wow.
So 2021, all clean so far. Here's hoping for the rest of the year.
I can only be better than that. I think in my entire life, I've shat myself. Oh, actually, it's more times than I thought it was. It's 4 times in general. So I've not done 3 times in a couple. I've done it in a seesaw once at a birthday party. That's not the best time I've ever had.
I did not up or down.
Right down. I had a virus. Down I went. It's the low. I mean, I was down low. Yeah. Emotionally, I was already down low. Do you know what I mean? This is the worst you've ever been. You've had a child having to scuttle across to your wife, trying to explain why you don't want to be at the 6-year-old's birthday party that you really wanted to be to in the first place because you've shit yourself, is not an explanation my better half is willing to accept. It's like, you have shit yourself just to get out of a birthday party. No, sweetheart.
I had to scuttle away from my wife. We were out walking the dog, and I was like, I need to go back to the house, and I scuttled away. And while I was scuttling away with shite in my pants and a wee bag from the dog full of shite, I stood on a dog shite as well, and I was like, this is too much, man. You're not supposed to have 3 types of shite on you.
Somewhere there is a toddler banging a Rosco Mcclelland voodoo doll off a dog train. Everything just knocking it away, man. But I did want to blow smoke at the start, but one of the things I want to say is undoubtedly you are probably one of the most unique performers, live performers, and now in this whole new realm, performers in entertainment today. It's amazing to have you on the show. First of all, because I cannot think of anyone that, I don't know if the phrase is turning into the curve with lockdown. I mean, you're there with the Twitch setup for your show. I got to ask, see, before lockdown even started, was Twitch something that was on your radar or something you wanted to jump onto?
It's always kind of been, it's always been something that's been in my mind. You know, I done, there was like an old Flash game called Hacksball, which was literally just like a little Flash version. It was like air pong, you know, and you controlled a little circle and you were just trying to score goals. And I got really into that once when I was, well, I would say quite depressed. And I would stay up and I ended up playing American leagues. I ended up winning the Hacksball World Cup with the Scotland team, and then ended up on like Justin.tv, which is what Twitch used to be. I ended up commentating on like the Champions League of Hacksball. And then after that, I was like, oh, this is really good. There's people watching this, and I'm talking and commentating in this game. It was like early esports, you know, it was like a while ago. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. But and then I tried to stream some stuff, and I was like, oh, my computer was just like a kind of office desktop at that time, so it didn't have the capabilities. I didn't have the internet to do it. And I was
Right.
like, all right, okay. And then I always wanted to make like wee videos as well. And
Yeah.
once I started making them, and then now I was kind of like, well, I've really been pushing on the video making. And I was like, what if I went to a few people turned to Twitch at the start of lockdown just for something to do? And I was like, oh yeah, let's all do that. And then I was like, wait, I can combine all the stuff that I like doing and at this one platform. I was like, oh, brilliant! I found my thing.
Because I remember when you started doing little daily video blogs. I mean, you were still out gigging. I remember you would do your little blogs, which I know for a fact me and our friend of the show, Jamie Haining from Side Splitters, would watch religiously every day. You would do these little video blogs of you working in someone's house, and I always remember doing that in the old shoot job days.
Yeah, the plumbing live. Yeah,
the plumbing live. Like literally, me and Jamie would message each other going, "Did you see Roscoe's video today?" I went, "No, mate, I'll catch it later." And then we were talking about it later on. It was just him. It was just him fixing a sink. But it wasn't just you fixing a sink. It was you talking us through you fixing a sink. And I used to absolutely love it. But then I know that it's like I'm saying, I've always been a big proponent in terms of in comedy. You got to try and be diverse and try different things. I mean, fail them in order so you can move on and learn from them. And you were a prime example about that because you started doing videos and like the comedy sketch videos that you did in your page, and then you saw them develop more and more and more as your skills grew. I mean, was that just something you were want to do to get out there? Or was it something that you really felt even at that point, there's something here, I want to do this?
Oh, that was purely for the I've always just been like that. I'd love to just be able to make my own stuff. See if I could make my own stuff the way I wanted to make it and have it. And if it's bad, then it's my fault it's bad. Because I've done a few things where other people have been heavily involved. And then I've been like, I don't really like that. I don't like the way that's turned out. And then I've went, well, that's not their fault. That's my fault. Because if it was all me and it was bad, I could go, oh well, silly Roscoe, you can just try again the next time. Don't make that mistake again. So that's the way I thought about it. And then I was just like, well, how did I do this? And then I done a wee video every day for like 2 months or something like that. It was purely just to try something new, something different with the program every day to go, how can I do this? Just sitting going, I don't know what I'm going to do different today, and then just start going, what's that? And then pulling that in and going, oh, that does that, right? I'll do, that gives me an idea, I'll do something with that. It was very much always film first and then see what I could do later on.
Well, that was the cool thing about watching it, because like there was experimenting, like you could tell you were experimenting every day, and that's what made it so like, as an old, I studied film way back in the day, and it was just fascinating to watch this developing in front of your eyes. And you were talking about like having control. I mean, that's the thing, is like a comedian, right? If you fuck up, it's between you and the audience. It's on you. Fuck it, these things happen. And you will get the comics, and we all know them, they'll go, oh, it was the audience and oh, it was this. But at the end of the day, it kind of comes down to us whether or not we manage to make it work or not.
Yeah, exactly. 100%,
and you might get guys that are like, they're still doing jokes about, I mean, I'm not calling anyone out, but it's like you remember back in the day, you would see comics still doing jokes about, whoa, what about this S Club 7 in like 2019? I think I'm not saying like, what about them, just to get into it. But you got to be about developing.
Yeah.
And we always saw that from you. I'd seen you, obviously, when you started in comedy, you did the character. Right?
Yeah.
Right, which I don't have a picture of. The worst thing is I tried to put in a picture of you from something earlier, and I realized that this gentleman here is not you.
Oh, that isn't me, is it? I thought for a second, I don't bike.
That is not you.
That's not me, no. I'd never wear that wee hat under my helmet either. It wouldn't have a skip cap element to it like that. I would have something else.
I've got to say, there's we've got to try and get you two guys in the same call. But the thing, you started off with the Rosco Mcclelland.
Yeah.
That wasn't like your first like introduction to comedy, because I'd seen you obviously do comedy just straight on your own, but then you did Rosco, and I thought it was the weirdest thing in the world, but I fucking loved it. Talk us through what took you to paint your face up like a skeleton.
Well, I'd done a few gigs just as myself, and I was kind of like, I feel like there's something here, but it needs more time, and I'm not gonna stop but I need more time and I need a different way to learn it. Because I think just me going up and going like that, I'm like, it's so boring. It must be so boring to look at. Just someone going, how do I talk to lots of people and tell my jokes? So me and I've always been a big fan of the Tiger Lilies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they're like very what is it? It's described as like kind of post-war Belgian cabaret. And they like paint their faces white and mess around with black face paint. And so it's like these little grim, horrible they done a show called Shock-Headed Peter, which was I believe that won a big award, and it made their career. And that was like just a kind of, they musicalized an old book of fairy tales. Let's see, like Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah.
They kind of musicalized a book of that, an old German book that all that's kind of spawns off from. And it was great, and I always loved it. And I went and seen them at the Fringe one year, and they were like playing the Saw and stuff. And I was like, this is a show. This is a show. And I love the whole atmosphere of it. And I thought, and you can get away with they're getting away with everything. They're getting away with songs about like kicking babies or sometimes an old lady down the stairs. And it's because it's not them that's doing it. It's these characters. And I thought, well, I'd love to do something like I'd love to paint my face like that. And I remembered there was one of my mates, a time where I would be up very late. I used to send him these like bad ghost stories and just like try and draw them out as long as I could to give him no real ending. And he'd be like, for fuck's sake, Rosco. And I was like, what if I did them and I painted my face white and black? And I went to the first gig in Yes Bar, and I painted my face white and my eyes black, and I was going to go up and tell these stories. And then there's a girl called Claire Shepherd, who I knew from high school, who was running the gig, and she went like that, oh, what are you going to be called? And I was like, I haven't really thought of that. And she's like, well, you look like a skeleton. And I was like, what about Rosco Skeleton? And then I was like, wait, Rosco Mcclelland? And that was it. That's literally how it started. And I'd done that a few times, and a lot, and people really reacted to it because I had like no stage presence or anything like that at the time. So I would just be like very dull with it, as if I hated every single minute of it. But really inside, I was like, I bloody love this. This is great fun. So that was it.
First time I ever saw Rosco Mcclelland, I always love. I want to say it was a Red Raw. I'm not entirely sure. But one of the things
I remember where it was.
Do you remember where was it?
It was Dumfries. It was Dumfries.
It was Rogafor. Is that what it?
Yes.
Rogafor? Is that what it is?
Yes, it was. Aye.
Because like I'm not going to say I'm old in the tooth or anything, but it was so nice because sometimes it's always great to see new acts and it's always great to work with acts, and you know that. It's always great to work with acts you never got to work with before. And sometimes you get a little jaded by a guy with a t-shirt and jeans or a suit jacket and going, so I've just been made redundant. And you're like, oh, fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you just want something different. Because the thing is, first and foremost, I'm a comedy fan. So I like watching comedy and I like watching comedy that's a bit off the wall. And I remember seeing it and just thinking, this is fucking brilliant. This guy is taking a shot in something. And then we got to gig with each other a few more times. And I don't know, I get a feeling that Rosco Mcclelland wasn't really around that long. Maybe 2 years, maybe tops.
Yeah, it wasn't that long. There was a few things in that kind of decision. It was like, I was like, well, this seems like a great middle act. But the next logical step is opening. And I was like, no one's going to have a fucking dour skeleton opening a show. You know, no one's going to do that. And I was like, well, if I want to get out of my current job and make a go of this, I need to have a plan B that I can switch between. And there was also, I don't want to fucking sound bad about this. There was someone else had done a character of a ghost. And then I heard one that they were actually quite upset that I'd done this skeleton character, and I was like, well, I didn't know. I didn't realize like Halloween was your thing, you know. I was just kind of, after I sat and thought about it in a while, I was like, no, fuck that. But then after it all kind of subsided in my head, I was like, oh, I don't even feel like doing it anymore. It's taking the wind right out the sails out for me. And it just kind of took the shine off it for me and all the excitement of doing it. And I would just, every time I'd be doing the face up, I'd be thinking like that, oh fuck, I bet they hate you, man. You should just fucking stop doing this. And that was it, really. And I was like, oh, well, you know, it's had its time. Let's fucking put it in the back bin the new and work on something else.
And it's time to move on to the next challenge.
Aye.
Do you think it gave you freedom? Do you think the fact that, because so many comics, so many even musicians, so many folk, they have that crotch that they hold on to without realizing that, really just to let it go? Do you think it gave you freedom and let you develop? Because I mean, for me, it was like a steep learning curve, even to watch as a comedy fan, you know, watch that steep learning curve of, it felt like you'd been liberated.
Yeah, for sure. Getting out of it, it was kind of like, and also I felt this, I mean, probably, like, I think, like, see, I don't know if you've seen that Michael Jordan thing, and he was like, oh, I went into that restaurant and someone said, someone was mean to me or like rude to me. And I thought, well, I'm going to fucking play better than them. But then he's like, it didn't actually happen. I just made that up in my head. This might be something like that. I almost thought like, I was like, right, when I go out of this, and I believe it was at, it was maybe one of you and Jamie's gigs.
Right.
It may have been in
maybe?
Tarbolton, maybe? Was it Tarbolton? I remember I was on with Stu Hu and Scott Agnew, and it was the first time I'd really like shed the paint,
right,
in front of like people who I would consider to be like fucking like top acts, you know. And I remember being like, I'm like, I bet they're fucking just waiting for me to fail, man. Not waiting for me to fail, but going like that. But just they'll probably be like that wasn't as good as the skeleton, was it? Just in the back of your mind, you would think that, go like, he's gonna have to put a lot of work into that. And I was just like, I can't let that happen. No, for my psyche in my head. And I went out and I had a fucking really good gig, and I was just interacting with punters and stuff like that. There was a guy with tattoos, and I was like, oh, brilliant, I've got this horrible tattoo. And I loved it. And Stu and Scott were like that, genuinely like that. That was great. You had a great gig. And I was like, thank fuck, man. Thank fuck, yes. And then I just had to keep pushing from then on and go, how far can I go with this? How far can I go with just myself now? And
like I say, the liberty, not that anybody didn't want to see you succeed as Rosco, Rosco Mcclelland, but I guess it's one of those things, like you think about performers that have kind of came before that have done character acts, and it wasn't a, because you can't describe it as a character act. I mean, I'm sure some people might, but I always thought there was an element of performance theatre to it, and there was a sort of, I hate using phrases like synergy between that, but then you think of those comedians or that have had that character act, and then they've hung on to it for maybe a little bit too long, or people have yearned and then they've maybe struggled. Like, I guess Al Murray, there's one. He's the pub landlord now, but he's actually a really funny guy on his own. But he's now Al Murray, pub landlord. But then you think of other acts. I'm throwing a complete blank, and I know that I'm going to come up with one as soon as I'm done. But it gave you that liberation. You got on about. Just seeing you grow was amazing. And I remember being there the night at the Barrowlands when you won the Scotty Award.
Yeah.
Was that a big night of comedy? And for people that don't know, it's the Scottish Comedian of the Year Award. It's a mixture of new acts, established acts. It really is just a level playing field of anyone that wants to enter. They make it through the heats and they get to the big final, which normally would be the Barrowlands in Glasgow. And you were on that night. And I've got to say this before anyone picks me up on it. I was one of the judges that night. Just before anyone says anything unto us. Well,
thanks very much for that, mate. I appreciate that.
I'm not saying it. All I knew was, like, but again, it was great for me because I got an opportunity to just sit at a live gig and just enjoy myself. But you came on that night. You've got such a unique way of doing it. in terms of making a connection with the audience and just painting a picture in their mind that I don't think they even considered looking at. And straight out the gate, you grabbed them. And it's no disrespect to the other acts that were on that night before you. They'd all done well, but you were the first one that reached out and just went, come here. And how did you feel coming out of that? Because that was a big win in the Scottish comedy scene, and we were all really excited for you. Was that another element of kind of like you said, you shedded Rosco Mcclelland, you became a solo act all on your own, or a solo act, you just weren't in a partnership, you know what I mean? Yeah. You kind of liberated yourself in that. And then was that like a reinforcement or an affirmment that, fuck man, I've got this?
Well, 100%, it was like, it was just like, oh, I've hit another wee bit up, another wee like fucking rung on this personal ladder.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, I remember just sitting there backstage, and my main thing was I wanted to play the barras so much, and I thought, right, if you can get through these heats and get to the barras, that'd be brilliant. You can say, oh, I played the barras once, and every time you go back and see a gig there, but I know what it's like looking to the other side there. I know what it's like being on that stage and looking this way, and it makes the building even more special in a way, and I love that place. But I remember sitting there, and just before I think I finished work, and I was on my way there, and I was like, no, fuck this, man. No, you can't just go there and like go, oh, I played the barras. I was like, no, I need to go out there and fucking and wreck this. I need to go out there and not even just have a good game. I was like, you need to go and fucking win this. If you don't win this, then you've fucking missed a big opportunity here.
Yeah.
And I remember just standing there, and I guess usually sometimes I would feel maybe a wee bit nervous, but I was like standing waiting to go on, and I was just like, I cannot wait to go up there and just stomp my way to where I need to stand, and then just fucking go for it, man. And I did, and at the end I was like, I feel like I fucking knew that was coming. Like for the second I was walking out,
right?
Like not like before or anything like that. It was just like when I started walking out, I was like, fucking hell, man, this is great. You're gonna have a great time.
So and it's almost like mentally because you pictured it. It kind of, because comedians can be quite, I don't want to say comedians, I think any performer, I mean, people can have doubts and, depression and what have you, and you briefly hinted on bits and bobs of that, but do you think you visualizing it, being able to visualize it and make it a success, do you think that's what it was, the key for you that night, or was it just everything coming together?
I think I just realised that I turned up in the right frame of mind, and I think sometimes, I mean, maybe everybody gets this, but I think it's probably maybe well known that sometimes I don't turn up the best version of myself, and I can like just fucking maybe go through the motions, or even I'm just not into it that night,
right?
And it's getting less and less now the more gigs that I do, and sometimes I can kind of fake my way through it, but I think sometimes I just don't turn up the right version of me, and but then that night I just felt electric when I was walking out there, and I was like, oh, this is going to be good, man. This is going to be fucking good. Regardless, I know I've fucking got something here. Just the way, just when I walked up those steps, and I was like, I don't even give a fuck what's out there. Yeah. I'm going out there to have a good time, and I guess that kind of shone through.
It's one of those things like you can get nervous about gigs. For anyone that's watching, you can get nervous about gigs, but one of the tricks, and it's kind of the same thing, but not the same, it's like you can get nervous and then suddenly go, hang on, but all those other gigs are the reason you're here. Like, enjoy this.
Yeah.
You went through all that shit to be here. Why are you nervous? You're at the fucking Battlelands, or you're at the stand, or you're at fucking Download, or whatever it is. You're here. Enjoy it. Go out and have a good time. And it can, and we could say that, I mean, I'm sure any performers, and, having that confidence in your mind, but also just having that healthy way of thinking about it. It's like, enjoy it. Cause like, God, man, if you're not going to enjoy the good times are now, you might as well, relatively, the good times are now, you might as well enjoy them. And I think it's a big problem with a lot of comics, or a lot of performers is they have a habit of not enjoying the moment.
Yeah, and I try and enjoy every single moment in my day. That's how I live, man. I always thought I was going to burn bright and burn fast and be dead quite early, but I'm like, well, I guess I'm still cutting about, so let's fucking really go for it, man. Let's have a great time here.
If that isn't the fucking prologue of a book, I thought I'd burn out by now, but I'm still here, man. Then I don't know what is. Like, I don't know. That's going to be the way that if I read that on the inside cover of a book, I'd like, I'm gonna fucking read this. I'm gonna see how this ends up.
The rest of it would be illegible. I am not a great writer.
You've got their money. You've got their money. What are you worried about? Money. Great looking book cover. But so much has happened in the last couple of years for you. I mean, obviously you've been getting extra. You've been working. We've seen you on children's BBC recently. And Dog Ate My Homework for
BBC guy now. How that happened? What? I don't know.
Well, as a fellow CBBCer, it's an odd phone call to get when you've no real. Sorry, I know you did the studio warm up for Dog Ate My Homework, and if no one's ever done to understand the concept of like studio warm up or TV warm up, it can be hard work, but it can also be just a scream. It can just be so much fun and try with those crowds. And we know that that's led to work on the BBC, and it's amazing. Now, the most recent success, certainly on the BBC for you, has been Up For It with you and Ashley Story, and of course with CMB. Yeah. I mean, the shows itself is a fucking riot. It's absolutely, it's great fun to watch. But how would you describe it to someone that had never watched it before?
Basically the BBC went, can we put YouTube on the telly? and can we get like cool like people who like each other to do it? Right. And that's essentially it. We're just doing various challenges and then just riffing it. And there was a lot of good stuff that kept turning up. And I would be like there was a thing we didn't even get to show in the episode with the cowboy challenge, and it's like one of the sorest I've ever been through laughing, and I was screaming with laughter inside, and I looked over and I seen the producer Paul just like behind a camera, just shaking like that, trying to hold this camera steady, and they're like, we can't show it because we think it might be like too cruel in a way, and I'm like, I know. But oh my god, what a laugh, man!
It comes through the TV, man. It comes through the TV that you guys are just having an absolute ball. So for those I've never seen this in BBC Scotland, I think you can still get episodes of it on the iPlayer as well. Pretty sure. But if you've never seen it, it's him, Ashley, and CMB just having the time of their fucking life. I think series 2 came out maybe just as the first lockdown started.
That was slightly before it, and then, or was it while I was in Oz?
I think
it was just before that. That's good. Well, that's giving me hopes that maybe we will get a season 3. So I thought if it had been that long, they'd be like, just fucking can it.
Oh, fuck, man. Listen, that doesn't help. I did a kids' TV show, and there was like a 4-year gap between series 1 and 2. It's like never going to happen. But they just kept repeating series 1 till it got to the point where like hairstyles were going out of fashion, and like t-shirts were getting like insensitive and shit like that. And they were like, right, we need to film more. But
I wouldn't even bother about getting another season just to get more things on the telly. I'm like, I kind of feel like I've got stuff. I have to, like, if I had people like I wanted to go, oh look, I'm on the telly. I can go, I'm on the telly. I've kind of done it with season 1. I'm like, well, that's me hit the top, right? That's me hit the peak of what I thought I was even close to being, right? Somehow I made it on telly. A wee idiot. But didn't know what he was supposed to do. Somehow I've got something on the actual telly with BBC in front of it. I just want, like, if they give us another season, it would just to have a laugh again, because so many things I'd never been able to go to a cowboy village or like have a BMX champ teach us how to ride BMX bikes.
Or
That's
dance.
never happened to me. Or dance. I'd never danced before.
Fucking buckle. It's just, I couldn't watch the rest of the episode. It took me 3 goes to watch that episode, Roscoe. It took me 3 fucking goes to watch that episode.
See, if they had a different kind of chair, I would have won that fucking competition.
If you haven't seen it, you've got to go check it out. So, listen, things are going well, and it was hope that, you know, maybe there was going to be more things on TV. Still might be the way things go. I mean, obviously, still getting my homework, but then after successful runs at the Edinburgh Festival, getting up and down the country, boom, we stuck ourselves in this global bastard or whatever we want to call it. Everything shut down virtually overnight. I really don't think we got a lot of notice at all. Now, I've always been an avid Twitch watcher. I watch it because I quite enjoy gaming, but I'm not really much of a broadcaster in that respect myself. So I always liked watching people. And then you popped up and started doing stuff. You said the plan was just to go on and have some fun, but the reaction, I don't know, maybe it was off the back of what do you think started getting people involved and coming to you to watch your streams?
I think literally maybe just people who were in the kind of same boat as me, because I'm always a night owl, and I always have been, and I would sit up, and even now, like when I go to bed, sometimes like this morning, I started watching Karate Kid at 3 o'clock. So by the time I got to bed, it was like 4:30, and then I'm like up in my bed, trying to be quiet so I don't wake up my wife, and I'm sitting looking at Twitter, and I'm like, there's nothing that anybody else is doing. There's nothing interesting for me here. I can't find anything. Like, it's just the same thing over and over again. I thought, well, that period between like kind of when it's after 12 and 2, that's when I'm like would be looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Usually I'd be like, oh, right, well, my wife's got to bed. What am I going to do tonight?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if there was something on, I would watch it, you know? If I liked it, I would be like, this is my time. I'll sit here and I'll watch this. And the fact that people can interact with it as well. So I thought, well, do your stream then. Do your stream then when you'd be sitting up doing nothing anyway, or doing something, or playing a game. So do it, and you can talk to people while you're doing it. And then and people were like, all right, he's quite funny. And then I was like, no, I was like, I don't actually these are people that it's not like friends or anything like that, you know, like I mean, now I know them, they're all lovely people. It was just like people dropping in and going, oh, what's this? And then sticking around. I'm like, why are you sticking around? And then I thought, well, there has to be something for these people. Yeah. You know, like I was like, well, how can I make things interactive? How can they really get involved? How can they? And then it's became like this whole thing, and I keep adding things in and putting other things, and then I kind of thought like, well, Twitch is kind of built for like, there's a side of it that's built for monetization.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, not everybody's got money now, and not everybody's got a job now, and people are worried about it. And I was like, well, how do I make things that don't cost money that they can interact with, so they can make things happen on the screen that don't cost money? Because I would love that if I was sitting scared. And I mean, I was a bit like, well, where's my job gone? It doesn't exist anymore. Do I need to go back on the tools? Will my knee handle going back on the tools? I don't really know. Yeah. And I thought, well, we'll do that. And I found a way to do that. So like when you watch a Twitch channel, you gain like channel points, which are just like, they were essentially for nothing. But people have worked out ways to integrate it with like, to activate things in your streaming software. So I've got all these wee files sitting there, and then they can use channel points to activate them, and it makes things fly across the screen. Or I need to dodge a laser, or you know, people are throwing tomatoes at me now and stuff, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So and I was like, well, this is my new thing. This is everything that I kind of taught myself how to do.
It's kind of like those. It's like you say, it's those late night shows that you'd always kind of watch on like Channel 4 or some of the Sky channels. Like God, like it's like back in the day, I remember sitting watching BitUp.tv or what was it? I was thinking about like I used to watch this. I quite like American football, so I'm sitting watching these channels about American football. And it's just people talking, but you've added a completely different. So it's kind of halfway between like the Broom Cupboard or like a kids TV show like Dick and Dom, and now it's got this kind of, I don't want to say the phrase babe station because everybody uses that, but it's like you say, it's just really making people reach out and connect with you in a way that, God, it's gone crazy. I mean, now now you're a Twitch partner. I mean, people are becoming affiliates. I think you need like 50 followers to be an affiliate. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now you're a Twitch partner, which we were discussing the number of people like in Scotland. We couldn't think of anyone else that's actually achieved that. Probably going to get some shit for that now. But now
I could tell there's Limmy's a big one. Limmy's a big one. And he's been a lovely hit. I was on my way to the numbers for partner, and I wasn't. I was like, oh, it's great. I watch Slimmy on Twitch all the time, and I was like, but I'm not going to try and like force myself when people are in like that. I'll just keep myself to myself and do my wee hangover in my show, and then somehow he's one night he raided me. So there's like 1,000, maybe like 1,400 people just coming in going like that. Right, what's this? And I'm like, I can tell you're sitting there like that. What's this? We're here for? And I'm like, well, I've got things. You want to see them? And people did, and they're like, oh, cool, this is it. And that bumps you up a wee bit more, and then you just keep fucking grinding. And maybe like 5 of them ever come back. You know what I mean? Yeah. Regularly go, oh, I would quite like to come and watch this again. But I mean, that's still 5 lovely people who are into what you do. And I'm like, oh, cool, hang about. I'll be here every night anyway. So
I love that attitude as well. It's like, oh, I know you're sitting there going like that. Oh, I know you're sitting there going like that. Right, I've got something for you. Because I've seen you do that as a comedian at live. I remember maybe last Christmas or something, watching you do the things with the cup challenge.
The cups. Oh,
the cups, man. And I just remember nearly missing coming on after you because I was laughing so hard. Watching, for those that are unaware, but it was like, no, there's anything wrong with it. It was all big work groups, and I think it was about Christmas. I don't think I'm far off that. I think it was around about Christmas.
Oh, something like that.
It was all big work groups, and they can be great audience. They're usually a lot of fun if you don't take it too seriously and you accept what you're going into. They're a lot of fun, but you do get a mix of people that are just there to hear dick jokes and get off stage. They don't want anything different, and you just rock that room with something they never knew they needed. is the way I'd put it. From playing Spice Up Your Life, I think.
Yeah.
Life, with the cups, and to the point that I just remember watching this guy that had barely been able to lift his head, that was so drunk, to standing up at the back going, "You can do it, son!" Really, like the most Saturday afternoon pie and football guy you could ever think of in your life. Just, you can do it! Like practically crying when you got all 6 cups on. It was just fucking incredible. And do you think, having seen you do some of the online stand shows, and I know that you've still done a couple of gigs, we're not doing as much as we'd like to just now, of course, but I know you've still done. Do you think you've brought an extra bit, an element of what you've been doing on Twitch over into your gigs, or do you think that's something you want to do when this all opens up?
Well, I'm thinking of now I'm like, well, this is so much fun. Having all this like kind of tech behind me, and I can control the whole show. And now I'm like, oh, an Edinburgh Festival show is never going to be the same for me if I'm just standing there talking. I'm like, but then I'd have to have someone else doing the lights and someone doing the sound cues and someone doing. And I was like, no, that's not how I'm doing things. Yeah, that's not how I do things. I know the timing in my head and when to switch it up.
Yeah.
So. And there's a lot of people who have like great cues and stuff like that, and things in like shows where they do the same thing every night. And I'm like, I've never fucking done that in my life, and I can't do that because I get bored of myself, and it shows, and then it's like half as good. So I'm sitting thinking, I'm like, well, how do I bring this live? And I'm already, well, I mean, I'd like to say I've been thinking about it, but in reality, I've been thinking, well, as soon as I get the opportunity to, like maybe a few days before, I'll go, right, I need to get this worked out, and then I'll do it. So,
that's the ethos of comedy that kind of got lost at the fringe. Do you know? I remember, Bruce Morton, who's a comedy legend, But I remember the way he used to tell people is you used to turn up at the Fringe with a blank page, and by the end of it, you had your show or the concept of the show you wanted to tour. But instead, you get people like are spending, they're spending 5 months. You're getting people doing Fringe previews in November, but you want to make sure you get that freshness you've got on the night shift every night. You want to bring that to live performance. And man, I think it's what the world. I think fucking more power to your elbow, man. I think it's going to have to be the way it's done, and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a fucking sellout, mate. I think it's going to be a sellout run. In fact, I've predicted it. I'm going to take credit for your sellout run. Congratulations on that.
Bloody hell! I need to have a small room.
Trying to get in. Right. I tell you what. What have you got planned next, Rosco?
Next, in terms of tonight, just keep going with the shows. Now I've got the partner nod on Twitch. I can start doing some different things. I was kind of like, well, this is a show. This is the show. This is what people are watching. Just fucking stick with it and don't try and, because I know Twitch can be quite fiddly with what they want. I was like, now they've said yes. They've given me carte blanche to go for it. Yeah. Like, they don't even know what's coming. So what I'd like to do next is the first few streams I did off my MacBook, which weren't good enough. I had my green screen thing set up, and I was I was the fruit surgeon, and I would like cut a banana, but not like in half. I would cut the skin like halfway around the body, and then like chop a slit in an apple, and like treat them as the real patients, and try and like bend the apple round the banana, like core it so it would like fit snugly around the banana. The banana's still intact inside, and then I would like stitch it or staple it back together and do like a half-hour surgery of this. So that's what I'm thinking about next, getting back into that with some people watching it and seeing if they like it.
I'm going to watch. At least one viewer. At least one viewer. Right, Rosco, of course, I didn't even put out the banner. Where is the best place for everyone to get in touch with, of course, what's going on? We know that people can find you on Twitter, but where's the best place for people if they want to check out the night shift, they want to check out everything that's going on? Where's the best place to get in touch with you, mate?
Just come on to Twitch. I've actually got an even better Twitch name as of today. Twitch officially gave me just Rosco instead of Rosco MCC.
Holy shit, you're like Prince.
Yeah. I was like, this account called Rosco doesn't actually do anything. Can I have that one? And they went, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's cool. You can do that.
Because everybody calls you Rosco. Yeah. And you will get some people that you'll give their full name, but if someone in the comedy community or entertainment does go Rosco, they usually go, oh yeah, Rosco. Like everyone knows him. Fuck man, that is cool as fuck. I've got to say.
So Twitch.tv/Rosco, and that's it now. And I'm like, that's easy, isn't it?
Fucking yes. Well, make sure to check out the night shift. What nights do you broadcast the night shift?
Every single night. Every night. What is it? Sundays to Thursdays is like 12:30, like midnight till 2, and Friday, Saturday is 11:30 till 2. Yeah. So that's it.
Guys, make sure to go and check it out. It's so much fun, and I guarantee you'll be back for more. Make sure to check it out. Right, Rosco, it's been so fucking amazing catching up with you, man, and getting to talk to you. I've learned so much about your career I didn't even know. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pop you just back in the green room, and I'll say goodbye to the boys and girls, okay. And then we'll get a wee catch up. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the wonderful Mr. Rosco Mcclelland.
Thank you.
Right. That's all we got time for here on Broadcast. Don't forget to check out everything that's happening over the course of Braw Beard Oils on social media. And of course, they've got some brand new stuff coming your way. And I'm told there's even going to be some broadcast stuff coming soon. So make sure to check that out. We've got more amazing guests coming up. Remember, if there's anyone you think we should talk to, let us know. You can drop us a little message, hit us up in the comments. And of course, make sure to check out the show on YouTube, and of course to check it out on all good podcast providers. You can get it on Spotify, you can get it on iTunes, you can get it all over the place. Check out all the previous episodes in the archives. We talk to musicians, MMA stars, pro wrestlers, comedians, actors, absolutely everyone, and we've got some belting guests coming in 2021. Right. Oh, actually, very quickly, I'll do a quick plug because I was asked to. Don't forget to check out Monday Night Improv. It's a show that I do online along with Stuart Murphy, Gary Dobson, Marilyn Robertson, and of course, Will Nami. You can make sure to check that out. It's a live comedy show each and every Monday at our new time of 8:30 Ep30. You can find that on the Stands YouTube, and of course, you can find it on other social medias. Make sure to head over to Monday Night Improv. Buy yourself some Braw Beard oil, and we'll be back next week. Now, here's the bit of the show where I try not to look at the video. Shall I manage it?